that this year we are calling our Tuesday calls, which we're going to do quite regularly, Wellness Sector Spotlights, which means we're going to spotlight on different sectors. Today, we're kicking it off with spa and hospitality because it's such an important sector. And we decided on the topic of the best business move I made in 2020. And I hope you'll all be thinking about that for yourselves. And we will be hearing from a few people, but eventually we hope to hear from a lot of you. I also wanted to mention that this year the calls are being sponsored, just an opportunity for one sponsor each call, which makes it possible for us to be able to offer these to everyone for free. So thank you to Kohler Water Spa, which is sponsoring our first call of the year. And there is a picture of one of the Kohler waters, and I know you have 4 locations, so congratulations. So let's get started. And I thank you, Beatrice, and just want to let everyone know we obviously have a lot of interest in this call. We've had almost 600 RSVPs and 70 different countries. Not everyone will be on the call, but I think a lot of people will be interested when we send the recording afterwards. I want to begin by introducing a few of the people on our team. And first of all, to Nancy Davis, Chief Creative Officer and Executive Director of GWS and GWI. Nancy will help me watch the chat box. Nancy, do you want to say hello?
Just hello and welcome to everybody. Very excited to start these calls again. And I want to say that the best business move I made in 2020 was sticking with this organization and this industry. And I'm very excited about 2021 too.
Thank you, Nancy. And I would say one of the best moves you made also last year was insisting, as I did also, that we do our Global Wellness Summit, which we did, and it became a hybrid, but we'll talk about that later. I want to go to Michelle Gamble, who is our Vice President of Business Development. Michelle, you want to say hello?
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. So happy to have so many familiar faces and some new ones on the call today. So I'm looking forward to it. Happy New Year.
Michelle. And I also want to introduce Wendy Jackson. Wendy, if you will say hello, because Wendy is going to be helping host some of these. She's going to help do Beatrice's job now and then. So Wendy, you want to say hello?
Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to the call.
And where are you, Wendy?
Miami, Florida.
Yes, yes, with me, which is where I am. So thank you, thank you. So for those of you who are new to the GWS, it stands for Global Wellness Summit. And yes, we host summits annually, and we did our 14th one last year. But the important thing to know about GWS, I don't know what happened there, but the mission is joining together, shaping the future. And that's the point of these calls, that we want to join together and shape the future together, because we do find that collaboration has been very helpful for our industry. So as some of you know, we hosted Zoom calls last year, and we actually hadn't done it before until the pandemic, and then we began hosting shortly after the pandemic, and businesses were shutting down. And we thought the Zoom calls would be a way to stay connected and to understand what's happening around the world and to learn from each other and be inspired. And I do think that was the case. We've gotten a lot of good feedback on that. So we decided to resume the calls this year, but we made a few minor changes, and we think and hope some improvements, but you'll let us know and we can always tweak as we go along. So here's what we're going to do today. So all of you RSVP that you're going to be on the call. And what I did yesterday is I looked through all the RSVPs, and I thought I selected some who were in the spa and hospitality arena specifically, and asked them to send me how they would answer the question, what was the best business move you made in 2020? That way I could kind of see, what people were thinking about. And I asked for just 2 sentences because we want to keep it short. And then I selected a few of you to kick off the conversation today. So you'll just be kicking it off, and then we'll get into a discussion where we'll open it up to some of the rest of you. And in order to get as many good ideas on the table as possible, because the point is that these ideas should be inspiring to other people, because a good idea in South Africa could be a really good idea in Europe or, in other countries. So we want to share. And but I thought, let's try this. We haven't done this before. Your best business move. If you want to share it in the chat, go ahead. A short sentence, because then that way we'll have a whole lot more good business ideas that we might be able to look at and learn from. So once we've done our introduction with the people that are prepared to share their best business move, and we've had a little discussion, one thing we're going to do today is go into breakout rooms with the magic of Zoom, because we feel it's important that you connect with a few people. And some of you may not have done this before, some of you have, but we will talk you through it, and it'll just be a short time, but I welcome you and encourage you to do that, because our industry is about connecting and connecting one-on-one. And so a large group like this is one thing, but a smaller group is something else. So then a few ground rules and we'll get started. We like to ask you to keep your comments concise. And I would say that's the same thing in the chat. If you have a comment, especially your best business move of 2020, make it short so we can, understand it and not read a whole lot of extra information. We want to avoid any promotion of self or products. That's kind of a ground rule for GWS. We want to share in the spirit of what is most helpful to the group and to the industry, because we believe we want everyone to be successful, and we want to help the every organization here be successful, because that helps us all. And lastly, you've heard me say this before if you've been on a call, we love to hear you share numbers. So percentages, dollar figures, whatever you feel comfortable sharing. We all just learn a lot more when you tell us what your best business move was, and it has a number to it. Like if you increased your revenue by $100,000, that tells us more than if you say, well, my revenue was up or down or whatever. So whenever you can share numbers, we appreciate it. So before I introduce the first person, I just want to acknowledge that 2020 was challenging for everyone. I am sure everyone on the call, and I got some emails about this, by the way, from the people I asked if they would share their best move. They were basically saying, well, it was not a great year. We lost a lot of revenue. We had all kinds of problems. And so I want to acknowledge that I think we all felt that and all feel that. And still, there's, were silver linings, or there were some moves that turned out to be, well, that was a good pivot, or that was a good thing. One example is that our summit, which was always only in person, became a hybrid. And that turned out to be a good thing, because we're going to continue with that going forward. So that's the kind of thing we want to hear about with a best business move. It doesn't mean you made a home run, kind of move, although maybe some of you have, and we'd like to hear about that too. So I'm going to start with Laura Crone. Laura, are you on? I just want to make sure you're from San Antonio. She's maybe muted. You'll have to unmute yourself. If she's not on, we'll move on. But Laura, if you're on, she's the Director of Wellness and Recreation at La Cantera Resort and Spa in San Antonio. So, okay, she's not on, but I'm going to share what she sent in, because I thought it was interesting. She said, we increased our room turn time to 30 minutes. Their standard was 15, and only offered 60-minute massages and facials, plus their nail and hair services. And what ended up happening is that it made a huge difference for their team comfort and the guest comfort. And they ended up capturing 65% of their 2020 budgeted revenue. And with closing for 3 months and running at 50% capacity, because they had to social distance, they nevertheless had a successful year. I thought it was interesting, those numbers, and it was a small change, but it made a huge difference. So that's what Laura shared. So now the next person is from South Africa, and he's going to have to help me, or she, I don't even know if it's a he or she, because the name is Natabi Senung. I'm sure that I'm not saying that correctly. So I saw you earlier on the call, so I'm going to turn it over to you. There you are. Yes, it's a she.
Hi. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon from South Africa. It's Ntabi Singh. So I tried to pronounce that phonetically, but it can be a little challenging. And to everyone in 2021, all the best prosperity and good health for this year. Our best business move for 2021 was a switch over to telehealth consultations. So primarily our medical wellness practice was one-on-one consultations, engagements, and dialogues. But the minute that COVID hit, that obviously messed up our logistics. And so we went straight to changing all of our communication, all of our platforms, including our book an appointment button became book a teleconsult button. We immediately changed all of the communication strategies to inform our clients that we were now digital. This allowed us to, one, maintain a lot of the clients who we now could no longer see. But what also happened, which we really enjoyed, is we got slightly more clients because they were able to share that we were now digital. So instead of our customer base shrinking, we were actually lucky to have it increase a little bit. So we were very grateful to have and been able to move over to a telehealth practice.
Thank you. And Beatrice, I'm going to ask you to find their website. It's Spirit Aloe Medical Wellness in South Africa.
Spiral aloe. So spiral aloe, like the plant.
Okay.
It is, yes, yeah, it's indigenous to Lesotho. So it is one of our symbols, actually, sort of continuity and health, but it's spiral aloe.
Yes, thank you for correcting me. Spiral Aloe Medical Wellness in South Africa.
I'm fairly sure that Ed held it too, and Valentina. I'm like,
I wanted to, Beatrice, I wanted to have you show their website if you could, because I thought it was very, very successful, apparently, that you added that book teleconsult. And so I thought maybe people would like to see that. And Beatrice is pretty good at sharing screen, but I know it might take you a minute to find it. So I would imagine a few others of you did, teleconsult or teleconference or I don't know what other words people have used, but I think that that idea, there we go. So Spiral Aloe Medical Wellness, Lifestyle is the Medicine. You can see there in the upper right, book teleconsult. And Beatrice, if you'll go to a few of the other pages on her website, you can just, go on top. You'll see that that book teleconsult stays on every page. So, it seems like that's a very good example. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So then I want to go over to Grant Jones. Grant, are you on the call? There you are. I see you. Good morning.
Hi, Susie. Good morning.
Good morning. Grant is with Strata Integrated Wellness and Spa at Garden of the Gods Resort and Club. And so I'm going to turn it over to you. Tell us what your best business move was in 2020.
Yes, thank you, Susie. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. Thank you so much for the invitation and the opportunity to share with this fantastic organization and with the tribe. Our best business move in 2020 was the creation of a wellness concierge medical membership that was focused on immunity. This membership consists of 29 unique and different wellness offerings that span the medical side, the health and wellness side, and also the physical fitness side. Our memberships consist of 5 different memberships. So we have the immunity, that's the main focus. We also have health, we have lifestyle, we have cardiology, and premium VIP. And our medical memberships range from $3,000 up to $15,000 US. And that is up to 12 months. The memberships are active while you have experiences remaining. We found that a lot of our patients and guests during 2020 said, I'm only going to be in town for 2 or 3 months of the year, or I'm only going to be there 6 months. And so we didn't want to put kind of an annual time frame on it. So as long as the patient has wellness experiences are available, their membership is active. It's really tailored and customized to either how aggressive or how comfortable and cadenced out their experience should be. And lastly, our number for our projected revenue in calendar 2021, we anticipate approximately a third of our membership revenue coming from the immunity membership specifically. So just a big focus around boosting the immune system, keeping strong, and preventative proactive health.
Thank you, Grant. And so we're hearing from you, as we did prior from South Africa, about the medical part. Tell us about, because I know you also have spa services and so on. How is the immunity, or are you incorporating the immunity focus in your spa services?
Yes, absolutely. What's wonderful about the facility and the structure of this the membership is that it's truly a blend. So our massage therapists are receiving extra training from our medical side on this is a little bit extra way to touch the body to infuse the body's own immune boosting response. And then the massage therapy team within the spa partners closely with the acupuncturist. So it's truly this integration and this complementary additive impact. So it's this collaborative, integrated approach. It's working very, very, very well.
Thank you. And I'm going to open it up for a second to anyone. And why don't you just raise your hand or just unmute yourself? Because the whole idea of immunity, I imagine that a few others of you, made that a part of what you're offering. And I'm just wondering what you're finding in terms of response. What's working, what's not working with the point on immunity. Anybody? Let's see, Heidi. Oh, I know there are people who have done things with the immune system.
I'm with you, Susie. Hi.
Yeah.
And I don't own a spa, but because I'm a consultant for physicians, and because I implore all my docs to make sure that they have something online, I thought I should take my own advice.
Great.
So,
And Sharon, please introduce yourself and where you are.
So my name is Sharon Feckety, and I'm in Tampa Bay, Florida, and I own a company called The Doctor Whisperer. So I got involved with isotonics, and now I've been drinking this for my own immune system ever since the pandemic started. And now I have an online shop, which of course, I'm sure somebody's going to cover that they have more online products. So even if you are consulting, I'm sure that there's people, if you are involved in the integrative wellness field, that you can have your own online products and partner with a company such as Isotonics to sell these products.
Great. So you're seeing that obviously there's interest in the immunity topic. Seems very, very predictable, I would say. Anybody else on the immunity topic?
Susie, this is Nikki Miller from the Kohler Water Spa. I just wanted to share, we did a lot pre-COVID in addressing just immunity and the benefits of, challenging your immunity, and being the water spa and the experts in hydrotherapy. We really focused a lot of our efforts on true hydrotherapy, introducing hot and cold treatments to just help build and boost that immunity in the body. Also, complementing that with some treatments, as I'm sure many people did, with different essential oils and different techniques, and found that it was a really great opportunity for us to educate people on what they could do, not only at home, but if they could get into the spa, how to do those treatments to help increase and build their own, immunity and services at home or, in a business. So, and then partnered with Ashley with our wellness businesses, just really focusing on, through the yoga studios, the hot yoga, and different treatments that we had, or services that we offered out of those studios, we found were very helpful and beneficial to our community and guests.
Thank you. I do know that I've seen that the reality is you can talk about the immune system with almost any of the modalities that we do and incorporate it in spa and hospitality, in so many ways. I mean, food and, food is a big one. So I think that the immunity focus is very interesting. So let me move on very quickly to Kevin Murphy, who I see is on. Kevin, you are from Canada, and why don't you share with us what your best wellness or what your best business move was in 2020?
Thank you, Susie. It is great to be here from Prince Edward Island and East Coast of Canada. Yes, we're in the hospitality business, tourism, but we're more in the hotel, restaurant, and beer business. But one of the biggest things to come out of this for us is that we are pivoting to open a Nordic spa on Prince Edward Island, hopefully in 2021. But for my business, what happened on March 13th, Friday, PEI, was that we seen something happening. By Monday, we mobilized 4 or 5 of our team. By Wednesday, we had shut down 20 locations and laid off 600 staff. And that was devastating. And the challenge was we didn't know what was going on. And we had to immediately pivot to how do we survive? What can we do? And it came down very quickly to people first. And we made sure our staff were taken care of, and how can we connect them to mental health. And this has been a 10-month journey with them. And I guess the other big thing we did was communication. I do a KEBS talk every Friday with my staff, and it's just on a little 2-minute video. I pivoted that to strictly talking about them and just what is important over the next few weeks, few months. Now it's a year. And we're seeing it. Prince Edward Island is locked down. For the last 10 months, probably 6 of them, we've been isolated from, and our business is tourism. 3 months, 4 months a year, we depend on that. So you know what? The message from me would be that people got us here. People are going to get us out of here. That's the business we've been in. We've done lots of pivoting, but it came from the ideas we got from the people that are in our business now, and say, okay, guys, we're in it together. We're going to come out together. And when we get out of this, we're going to be running, not walking. So it's been interesting, but we're looking forward to the Nordic spa and the wellness that'll bring to everybody.
Kevin, you mentioned in your email to me that communication. Other than your Friday, and I don't know if your Friday communications were by Zoom, was it to your entire 700 or even more people? What other kinds of communications, and what did you do on your Fridays?
So somebody mentioned it earlier. Like, I think there was numerous levels of communication, and one of them was, I had 25 colleagues that we reached out, restaurateurs, hoteliers, people in the beer business, and just said, guys, let's talk every week for an hour on Zoom. And you quickly realize that in times of like this, everybody's there to help everybody else. So that was one. Another one, I just reached out to 4 or 5 senior people in our community that I knew from my business. We were supposed to be celebrating our 40th anniversary last June. We were supposed to be celebrating our best year in business. It was our worst year in business. Sales were down 50%. So having all these connections and communication helped me stay on focus. So the Friday calls were really 2 minutes. We have a guy in the company that did the videos, and every week was a different message, but it's zoomed back to really what we're going through. We're going to get out of it, and we're here to help. And so there was multiple layers of communication, and even the media in dealing with our government. We communicate with them every week to let them know this is what's going on the ground. This is how hard your people are being hurt. And you know what? Our government responded. They came out the first, second week with a gift card from the grocery store for $100. You wouldn't believe what that meant to the staff. So anyway, it was communication overboard.
Thank you, Kevin. Those are inspiring examples. I want to open it up to others with their best business move. We'd like to have you share that. And Nancy, you've been watching the chat. If there's someone you'd like to call out where you think that might be something we all want to hear about, we'd like to hear it.
Well, if nobody is going to jump in right now, I will say that Graham Brahim Legrun, and apologies
Yes.
for pronunciation.
There you are.
Cryotherapy. Introduced cryotherapy into what you were doing. I will say, and you might want to comment on that, but I would say that there's an overarching consistency that people focused on communication and engagement with their current existing clientele, figured out ways to continue to engage. I say we did the same thing. And that people also focused on themselves and used some of this time to file a patent, write a book, start a project they had been wanting to start and didn't have time to do. I have to say there's an overall sense of resilience in this group, but maybe Bram would like to talk for a minute about the whole cryotherapy market.
Yes, Bram,
Sure.
introduce yourself, please, and tell us what you did.
Hello, did you hear me?
Yes.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. I am the sales manager of the company CryoAction, based in UK, and we manufacture whole body cryotherapy solution. It's a 3-minute treatment at minus 150 degrees, but it usually works for sports teams, and they use it for recovery protocols. And we have seen now the spa looking for this kind of treatment because it has a huge benefit, specifically boosting immune system and also anti-aging. So we have signed up last week with the UK Spa Vision in UK, where they promote our product, and we have seen a big interest. It's a very new market for now for spa market, and we are focusing right now to add a new kind of treatment, and it's also a new revenue for the spa.
Right.
Thank you, Bram. And that is
Thank
a
you.
very good point. There have been some businesses that have actually done better in 2020 than before. I did speak with some people who do saunas. And the reality is that there are a lot of people that wanted saunas in their homes. And so that business really exploded. Anybody else have, go ahead, Nancy, you want to.
Letitia Calvo maybe could talk about, because we talk a lot about technology surging last year, and you talked about launching an app and that generating tremendous revenue. Letitia Calvo, could you introduce yourself and tell us for a minute about that?
Yes, hello, this is Leticia. I'm here in Cancun, in Riviera Maya, and the Excellence Collection has already opened 5 properties out of 7. We opened the first one in June, and we did a lot of promotion for the spa at check-in and also in the turn-down service every night. So we had a lot of business that was going there through some notifications, printed notifications. And when we were opening again, the app was developed because we were like behind on the technology part. And I was like, my knees were trembling because I thought that we were going to lose all that 30% of the business that came in from check-in and every turn down service promotions. And amazingly, the app, which has no interactive features right now, because we just started, it's only a board, I might say. We started to get all the check-in part of the business out of the app. And it also covered the turn down service, the turn down promotions that we sent. So we are having like about 30% of the revenue of the spa coming in just from the app, from a non-interactive app. And then also we started to get a lot of website business. You know, it's like we don't have a super spa software, unfortunately. And we dedicated 3 years ago a person which we call e-concierge. And we started generating more revenue. And now one of the spas make like the business out of digital from the app and from the web, coming in like 70% of the business. We started also with the immunity treatments and so, but
Letitia, I'm going to just interrupt you. I'm sorry. I want to be able to keep everything moving, but really appreciate what you're saying, because I think technology offered people and offered companies that have not before embraced technology so much. Those companies turned to technology at a time like this, and it proved very, very valuable. And I think that, that is why we saw a tremendous surge in wellness technology as a category, as a sector. Last year, it was booming. And people were just throwing money at technology, and it really helped. It really helped a lot of these businesses. I'm going to, Susie, there are plenty more, but turn it back to you because I know you probably want to get to the breakout sessions.
Yes, thank you, Nancy, and thank you, Letitia, for sharing that. So let's go to the breakout sessions. Now, before we go there, I want to let you know that every time we go to breakout sessions in other things we've done, we lose people. People just, decide they're leaving. And I want to ask you, do not leave. Please do not leave, because it's only 12 minutes. And what you will do is you will get, what happens is Beatrice does this with the magic of Zoom. It's a random thing where you end up in a room with about 4, maybe 5 other people, or maybe, I don't know what the number will be, but there'll be fewer people than obviously. And it's just a few minutes for each of you to introduce yourselves and also share, if you want, your best business move. And you don't have to share. You can just listen if you want. But I want you to try and be part of the breakout room, because it's also something you should know how it works. Not everyone is doing breakout rooms because we lose people, and not everybody is comfortable there. But all you have to do is you just do nothing. And Beatrice, you can give more instructions if you'd like. And when you get in the breakout room, you will just moderate yourself, introduce yourselves to the other people, and if you want to, share what your best business move was of 2020. And then automatically in 12 minutes, you will come back. I think there's an option for you to click on something, but you don't even have to do that. And then you'll be back in this mosaic of everyone together. So are you all ready and willing to try? And you will not, jump off?
We promise not to leave, but I also just want to say it's a wonderful networking moment. We have actually had results from these breakout sessions that we've done on other calls where people end up doing business together. So think of it as, the break at an event where you get to talk to somebody.
Okay, so Beatrice, do you want to give us any more instructions? And people don't really need to do anything, just wait until you're in a smaller room.
So I'm currently setting the rooms up. It will be 4 to 5 people per room, and it will be great. Just a quick reminder to unmute yourself on the bottom left of your Zoom window at the little microphone. And it will also be nice for you to turn on your video if you don't have it on, so the others in your small group can see you.
Yeah, that's a good point. If you're not on video, it's nice if you put it on, but you don't have to, you don't have to. And so Beatrice is doing her little magic, and in a moment you'll be in a smaller room. And I look forward to seeing you all back in about 12 minutes. How was your breakout experience? Was okay?
Good, very good.
Good, yes.
That was lovely, yes.
Good. So now you know how it works. You get together and you don't even need to do anything, and all of a sudden you're back. Let's hear from anyone and let's hear about some good business ideas. That's the focus. We hope you met people and have a good connection, but did you hear any really good business decisions that you think the whole group should hear? Yes, Sarah Camilleri.
Hello, Susie. Hi, great to see you and Happy New Year. I had a fantastic group. There were 4 of us, and me being the nosy journalist, I ended up moderating it a bit. But it was a real mix. So we had 2 really incredible app developers on. One's brand new that's coming out this month, and I think the pandemic has really inspired a shift in that. And Noah came, who runs Run Go, and He's pivoted the business with two great decisions to shift running experiences. So their consumer growth has been huge, but for hospitality, they've been digitizing walking maps and maps on places to get people closer to nature and really appreciating spaces, which I thought was wonderful. And Margaret from La Pina Spa, she and her husband and family, I mean, it's a beautiful location, but they've actually done some incredible work. And one of them is to take their organic produce from their farm into the city that's 90 kilometers away. So they've got a whole new organic produce delivery service. They digitized their communications online with their customers, and they've got 80% bookings with people coming back. The loyalty's been huge. So it's my question was, do you think this would have happened without the pandemic? And she said, well, no, because it's made us become much more creative. So that was our group, but it was really fascinating.
Thank you, Sarah. And I know you did a pivot too. What was your best business decision?
I think that probably we had to take all of our beautiful print products online and create community. And we used platforms like Instagram to have soul conversations every week to help all the wellness leaders that joined us each week to share best practice and information. Particularly in lockdown, it was more personal about how people were coping, and now it's more back to business. And now we've got in the UK lockdown 3, so we're going back to more conversations about resilience and team well-being. I think it's been a big subject.
Thank you, Sarah. And I think your point is a good one, that a lot of things that we all did, we would not have done if it wasn't for the pandemic. So we got a little bit more creative and entrepreneurial. Who else would like to share some good ideas they heard in their group? Go ahead and unmute yourself and just let us know.
Hi everyone, it's Laura. Our group had Pablo, Belkey, and July and I, and the theme was really about kind of looking at things from a little bit more of a humble perspective, it seemed, kind of reimagining from a place of what is it going to take to move forward with a little bit more humility about the fact that that we're probably going to need to do some different things. So that it seemed like the humbling of what this moment has brought to all of us is requiring us to kind of think in a very different way. But the resilience piece is also a big key piece of it too. And I think the back and forth with emotional and business factors is probably the most challenging in my world. And it sounds like in others too, no matter what your particular business focus is. So it was nice to see that common thread, and then it's like, well, how can we help each other?
Thank you so much. And I see Justin, if you wanted to share, because I know you emailed me, if you wanted to also share your best move, you'll have to unmute yourself. But if you can do that, yeah, Justin, go ahead.
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm Justin. I'm with Spirit Spa here in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada. And obviously, we had a brief period where we were shut down for services. We were grateful that we could reopen in June, but in that period, we really focused on our e-commerce side of our business, being a local business here in Halifax. We do have a retail shop component to each of our locations here, and had always had something online, but never quite a robust e-commerce side. And when we looked at our 2020 numbers versus 2019, we grew e-commerce by about 80%, which was pretty incredible. And some of that came from the success of introducing our spa boxes, which we weren't certainly the only spa that did that, but we did things like a facial in a box that came with instructions on how to use the products and sort of give yourself an at-home facial, or pedicure in a box, and same thing. And we themed them to Mother's Day and all sorts of things. So really, really great way to connect with our customers differently, and grow a whole side of the business that was always kind of on our to-do list, but every year would sort of we'll get to that. We're grateful we finally got to it.
Thank you, Justin. Yes, I remember you mentioning your e-commerce, and I think a lot of us ended up with with
And certainly, I mean, I don't know a whole lot about the e-commerce side of the business, and it was a great learning opportunity for myself and our other manager to say, well, we don't really know, let's learn as we go. And now we know a whole lot more. So
yeah. And I would say it's good for our whole industry that more people are jumping into this. So as we get a little bit closer to the end of our time together, I wanted to just ask Nancy to mention about the Wellness Masterclass, the series that she runs, and the first one is happening tomorrow. So Nancy?
Thank you, Susie. I was going to jump in and say that I hope you will all tune in tomorrow, same time, Zoom call at 10 a.m. Eastern for a wellness masterclass with Jessica Jesse. She is the CEO and creative director of Buddha Girl. And her topic is, thank God it's over, lessons learned and what matters most for 2021. If anybody knows Jessica, if you're familiar with her brand, she is an absolute leader when it comes to beauty, mindfulness, glamour, and wellness. And it's really fascinating to hear her. She's very, very unusual. She's also the brains and creative designer behind the Wellness Moonshot calendar. And she's going to talk about that too. So I do hope you'll come. We will send the sign up in the follow-up, but it's tomorrow, 10 a.m.
Yes, she is one of the most creative persons I've known. And why don't you also talk about the week after? And I'm going to give this group a peek at the first Wellness Moonshot calendar because I have it in my office. So,
okay. Next week, Susie will be running this call, the Wellness Sector Spotlight call on wellness, real estate, and communities. And I will be having a masterclass next week with Dr. Richard Carmona, the 17th Surgeon General of the U.S., board member, very, very prominent leader in the fight against COVID too. And he's going to update us on many things. Big wellness champion. Susie is holding up the spectacular color block metallic Wellness Moonshot calendar for this year that Jessica designed. And that's something that you can purchase online. You can download digital assets, and that's through the Institute, the Global Wellness Institute. So I hope you will join us in all of it. Be part of everything we do. It's a lot of fun.
And it's possible to be part of the Wellness Moonshot, a world-free preventable disease without paying anything or buying anything, although the calendar is beautiful. You can just go to Global Wellness Institute. And we are also doing a celebration every month of during the full moon, because that way everyone globally can look at the moon. And by the way, the moon is full at the same time everywhere, all over the world on the same day, which I learned earlier in a few years ago. And so our moonshot celebration this month is going to be in January, on January 28th. So I just want to end with Beatrice, if you can show our bubble chart, because the sectors of the wellness economy are very distinct and important. There are 11 sectors now because we just added mental wellness. And so you can see that we've had spa and hospitality discussion today. And next week, we are going to be focusing on the wellness, real estate, and community sector. But you will see that all of the sectors will eventually be something that we spotlight on a Tuesday. And I just want to end by saying thank you to everyone for joining today. And Beatrice, why don't you unmute everyone? So if anyone wants to say a verbal goodbye, you can do that. And I just thank you all for being with us for the first Wellness Spotlight.
And thank you, Kohler, for sponsoring.
And yes, thank you so much to Kohler for sponsoring this first one. I appreciate it. Thank you, Nicole. I see you there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. This has been great.